Well, Tom, we're sat here waiting for a bite, but you are currently fishing with the Guru A-Class 10-foot feeder rod.
And what a beautiful looking piece of kit it is.
I think this is quite deceptive, Tom, because it looks the part. You're sitting there, you look half like you know what you're doing.
I've got everybody conning, haven't I?
Well, I was going to say we know the truth, but you're fishing with a rod there that actually would have to be classed as being in the lower price bracket.
Yeah, I'd say it's a budget feeder rod. Really, you can pick these up for under 65 quid if you shop about. Look at it though. I mean, it just looks absolutely class. You've got the same sort of handle features as the Aventus rods, which are about 5 times the price. A lovely little grip at the bottom of the handle here. You've got a bit of cork there. I've actually left the cellophane on that, which is a bugbear of mine, but this is going back to Wickersley, so we've got to. But you've got a nice bit of cork. You've got a lovely secure reel seat, and then the graphics. It just looks lovely, doesn't it?
So, I mean, this is a change, not a change in direction, but this goes against what we've seen so far with Guru. The Guru rods that have come so far have been high-end, expensive rods, good quality, and seem to have sold well. So they've actually gone from one end of the scale to the other with this, haven't they? But I've never seen anything like this where. Ooh, little touch there, Tom.
I think there's one on there, my old beauty, to be fair. I think so.
That's nice of you to oblige.
Oh, is it? Is it, though? I didn't realise that you actually casted that out. You left the old anti-reverse on, didn't you?
Yeah, I like to play little tricks like that on you, Tom, just to keep
you're
you
an
on your
absolute
toes,
devil of a man, aren't you, really?
Yeah, got a little roach.
Let's have a little look.
Oh,
it's not a little roach, it's a great roach,
well,
that
whatever it is, it's a nice little soft action on that rod there. So we've had the expensive rods from Guru. We've now got a budget range. Now they've not gone anywhere in the middle. They've gone from one end to the other, and I get the impression, and I might be wrong on this, but I get the impression that this is Guru's attempt to put something on the market for maybe a junior audience. Definitely a sort of a beginner's audience. Maybe.
What makes you say that?
Just because of the price range, and I don't think companies that do that have a high price tag with their equipment, they tend not to. They don't want to put anything that's cheap out there that might be substandard.
Yeah.
Because you can ruin your reputation on your high-end goods with your cheaper goods.
I think as well, mate. There's a simple logic, isn't there, to if you're going to develop a product and you want to do a range of products, of course you develop the top end product first because you find out what features you want on there, what sort of make it good, etc. And then what you can do as you come down in your price brackets is find out what you want to keep on that to meet the production costs that you need to get to those lower price brackets. So there's no surprise really that quite a lot of the features you see on the Aventus rods, which are 5 times as much, are on this. I just think it's a lovely little rod, and I mean, yes, I know Guru are doing an awful lot at the moment to bring new people into the sport, and certainly things in the A-class range, like for example, we've done a whip in this range, is definitely aimed at the beginners, but I'd happily use this rod.
I know, yeah, I know what you're saying, but what I'm saying is you could put the same sort of thing if you're making your way, if you're a youngster making your way in match fishing, or a club angler making your way and trying to step up the ladder a bit, then you've got no shame in using a rod like this.
No.
Because you don't look out of place on the bank. It doesn't look like you're using substandard gear. Where when you and I were young, many moons ago,
don't confuse it. We were bloody hell.
But either way, our options
in the war when you
were in the war. No, our options were considerably. When you drop down into the budget range, or the range that was maybe aimed at at beginners and whatever, the quality was substandard. You could tell, the rods were thicker, and they're just not. As a youngster, you probably didn't notice so much, but when you got to know about tackle, you could soon see the deficiencies. Whereas with this, I don't see that. I just see rods that are obviously, sure you can maybe notice a few different things between those rods, but they look the part, and they're very good.
I think they're fantastic, and as you quite rightly say, what did we have when we were younger, it was stuff out the Argos catalogue, wasn't it? It
Yeah.
was that sort of thing in the real sort of budget
Composite
range.
carbon and all kinds of weird materials. It was never quite. I just think it's just, to me, it's just very. This is a temper. I can't remember. I didn't look at this. You looked at this, but there's other lengths available.
Oh, there's all sorts available in this range.
They've done a whole range of rods, and
there's some longer rods for the river. There's some. There's some whips in this range. There's even a landing net handle in this range. There's a lot, and it's the entry level stuff. But it's quality. Guru had that reputation. I must be honest, Dave, I was a bit nervous for him because, to me, as they emerged, Guru were always a real quality brand. It was always like they were doing everything to make it as good as it could be. And when I heard they were going after that budget market, I did worry a little bit. But now I've seen this, that's allayed that concern, because this is just a lovely rod that I'd quite happily fish with, really.
Do you know what I think as well? Like, I don't know whether it's just me getting older, but seeing things, they look to me like quite a trendy brand.
Very.
Is that fair to say? They've really, I think they've captured a younger audience. They've got a bit of a cult following.
Yeah.
Not a cult following, that's not fair, but they've got a big following. They seem to be very, the way they do it, they're consultants and that, it's got a very young feel to it. They're not. It's not lots of old timers. Sort of thing. There's a young feel to it. Anglers that are at the top of the game, and they seem to they support the England under 15s and they do it properly.
Yeah.
And I just think they're very. And I just think in this is exactly what they're doing. I say I would not be surprised to walk around to see junior anglers coming into open match fishing or into big match fishing and seeing them using this gear and looking perfectly at home and actually and getting results and quite easily beating the likes of me and you.
We don't want that, do we?
Well, it'll happen. Sure as.
That's it. Well, I mean, it's hard for me because a 10-foot feeder rod, you want a soft action. It's generally, commercial fishing. It has obviously got a little bit of power in reserve as well, but that's a soft action. We're catching these small fish quite easily today on this, aren't we?
Yeah.
And you know what, Dave? It's if I was spending my hard-earned cash on a 10-foot feeder rod, hard-earned. I'd have to think very, very, very hard before I went past this at that price bracket.
Yeah,
I really would.
I've not seen anything in that price bracket to rival that. And just quickly as well, tips. What tips does it come with?
440 at Newmarket, 3 o'clock at Kempton.
I'm trying to do a serious review.
Sorry, Paul.
What tips does it come with?
That is a great question. I'm going to put them on the screen now for you lovely people out there. You've caught me out, Pop.
To be honest, I don't know, so I'm as bad as you, but I expect you to know these things, Tom.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously it's a commercial rod, so I'm going to guess it's going to be an ounce and a half. But one thing I do know about the tips, and so we'll put the exact sizes on the screen now. One thing I do know, a little birdie cheekily told me that these tips for the A-class feeder rods fit Daiwa rods as well.
What, all Daiwa rods?
I don't know about all, but
a lot of the feeder
yeah,
rods.
the more common ones. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what you're saying there is that you could buy the Guru tips for a Daiwa rod at a cheaper price.
I can neither confirm nor deny.
Just
that
they fit. That's all we know.
Yeah, they fit.
Well, that's going to be useful for both Daiwa and Guru users, isn't it? But I haven't seen anything like that that's really sort of come in, at that price range, and just not seen anything like it on the market. And I think they've, I can see the market they're going for, and I think it's brilliant.
Absolutely. So that's our thoughts on this Guru A-class 10-foot feeder rod, folks. We're going to leave you now with some thoughts of Vinnie Lee from Wickersley Angling. This is what he had to say about this rod.
Looking at rods and some at new kids on block, one that's come to my attention and lads' attentions downstairs is the Guru A-class rods. They've obviously got a Daiwa background. They are, for the money, as good a rod as you will get. They've got from 13-foot float rods down to 9-foot bomb rods, If you're looking at the feeder rods and the feeder tips, they fit the Daiwa range, $9.99 for tips. I broke a tip recently, $43.99. I nearly cried. I could have replaced it with a $9.99 one. If you're wanting a new Daiwa tip, have a look at the A-class ones before you go and spend a lot of money.